Please note that the following story contains details which may be distressing to viewers. An inquest docket has been opened after the decomposed body of an 84-year-old Ncaniwe Zingaphi was found in Boikhutso location in Lichtenburg in the northwest. Police are saying the woman left her home on the 22nd of December. Her grandchildren reported her as missing on Christmas Eve. Newzroom Afrika's Refiloe Seboko is covering the story for us and joins us now. Refiloe, a very good morning to you. Very devastating story. This is, of course, speaking to a very significant time where families and friends are coming together, resting, and now to have to deal with such a heart-wrenching incident. What has happened here?
It sure is a devastating story, and talking about this time of the year. In fact, the family said that just before they had registered that missing person report with the police, they noticed that something was wrong, because normally the grandson, which I'm about to speak to now, says that it's a norm that during this time, the festive season, they would come and fetch the grandmother so that they go and spend the festive season together. But when they came to the house to fetch the old lady, she wasn't here. But allow me to speak to Zandi. Thank you so much, Zandi, and welcome to Newzroom Afrika. Talk to us about, the family is reeling at this moment in time, but, what happened, and, you are also saying that you are traumatized at the state at which you found your grandmother in.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. Just to give a bit of a background, like you already indicated earlier, that the past week, from Monday, I had been in communication with my grandmother, talking about when exactly was I going to come and pick her up to go and enjoy Christmas at my place. And the last time I spoke to her was on a Thursday in the afternoon, when I was now making final arrangements to say I was no longer coming to pick her up, but my wife was rather coming to pick her up. And that was the last time I spoke to her. And we had said that we coming to pick her up on the 24th, on a Christmas Eve, which was on a Sunday. And then on Sunday, indeed, my wife arrived here to come fetch her, and then she found that she was not in the house. She gave me a call, and I said, no, look, I think she must be somewhere in the with the neighbors visiting or something. Just ask around. My wife did that, and no one knew where the grandmother was. They started looking for her up until around, from 10 in the morning until around past 6 in the evening. And then when they gave me a call to say they still couldn't find grandma, that's when I knew that something was off. And the reason for that is, like you said, if she knew that I was coming for anything, whether to come check up on her, or whether to come fetch her, or whether to bring her food, she wouldn't go anywhere. She wouldn't allow anyone to take her away from the house.
And then you contacted the police filling a missing persons report. Yeah.
On Sunday during the search, that's when I advised my wife to say, look, if because the information we got at the time was that she was last seen on Friday. In fact, there's a lady who contacted me via Facebook on Friday evening around past 10, saying that she met with my grandmother around 8 o'clock in the evening, a few streets away from her house, and she asked where she was going, and she said she was going to look for her other grandchild. And the lady said no, but it was late in the evening, and she insisted that she takes her back to the house. She took her half away up until to the corner there, and that's where they parted ways. And my grandma then walked her way to the house. My younger brother says when she left the house, she saw the granny turning by the corner, approaching the house. He quickly ran to the shop. He spent about 15 to 20 minutes, but when he returned from the shop, that's when he discovered that grandma was not in the house. Now, whether he did indeed reach the house or not remains a big question for us as a family.
Let's talk about, the discovery of the grandmother. You were talking about the state in which she was found in, but also because her body was decomposed. That's why funeral arrangements are ongoing, and she will be buried tomorrow. When you talk about that state, talk to us about that.
Well, it's really difficult to revisit that scene, but for the sake of the interview, I think I'll try. We received a call from one of the elderly people in the area, saying that there's an elderly woman who has been found thrown in a ditch behind the JM Leketa school. But they couldn't tell whether it was indeed my grandmother or not because of the condition which she was. We then quickly rushed to the scene to go check whether it was our grandmother or not. And when we got there, unfortunately, it was confirmed that it's indeed her. She was in a decomposed state, but you could clearly see that she was the face was bruised. There was a cloth around her neck, another cloth covering her mouth, and there was a black plastic as well covering her eyes, and both her hands were tied behind her back. And on her thighs there were visible bruises and scratch marks, and her underwears were not with her. They were actually found a few meters away from her body, as well as the one shoe. Yes.
Have the family received the post-mortem reports, and what does it say?
Yeah, post-mortem was done on the very same day, on a Tuesday, the 26th, and the outcome thereof is cause of death is strangulation and suffocation. Yeah, so she was obviously strangled. Yes.
Condolences, Vui, rather Zandi. But let me speak to the niece, just before I hand over. Mam Vui, it must be a very traumatic time for Lona as the family.
It is very traumatic now for a family, because usually we know during the festive season, my her grandson, Papi, will fetch her here, and then she will go to Klerksdorp, and then because we are all staying in Klerksdorp, it becomes easy for us to visit our aunt and to spend the Christmas and the festive with her. But this year it was totally different version.
What hurts the most, but also not that, what kind of a person she was, and what is it that you're going to remember most about her?
She was a very lovely person. A very lovely person. She will always give out some jokes. We will always be laughing. Well, it's very sad for us now. It is a very difficult period for us. Yeah.
Condolences, Mama. Vuyiswa and Zandi. Vuyiswa, who is the niece to the elderly woman. Zandi was just explaining there the gruesome state that the old lady was found in, the post-mortem results that they got as the family as well. But preparations for the funeral are ongoing, which it will be tomorrow. They're saying that is because of the state that the old woman is in, and that's why that she needs to be buried tomorrow. But we understand that at this moment in time, an inquest docket has been opened by the police to do investigations into this case.
Many questions and not many answers to that. Of course, we leave it there for now. Refiloe Seboko giving us an update on that really heart-wrenching, devastating story out in the northwest.